Well, with his thoughts on the issue, we are now joined by Bob Rae, Canada's ambassador to the United Nations. Ambassador Rae, good to see you. Thank you for joining us.
Great pleasure. Good to see you, Michael. Thanks for having me.
Listen, I want to begin here with the reaction that we're seeing from the Israeli Prime Minister to Canada's recognition of Palestine. And this is what Benjamin Netanyahu said. This is translated. His was originally in Hebrew. He says, "I have a clear message to those leaders who are recognizing a Palestinian state after the horrendous October 7 massacre. You are rewarding terror with an enormous prize." Again, that's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. I'm wondering, has Canada essentially done that with this recognition, reward Hamas?
No, not at all. I couldn't disagree more strongly with the Prime Minister or with others who say the same thing. It's completely false because Hamas is an extremist terrorist organization. It has been so labeled by Canada and described in our legislation. So the idea that somehow we're not aligned on that question is completely false. And the attack of the 7th of October was a terrible attack. But here we are more than 2 years later, and we still don't have a resolution of the conflict. Tens of thousands of people have been killed in the war, most of them civilians, many women and children. There's widespread starvation, lack of food, whatever definitions you want to use. Terrible things happening, huge problems with health, public health. The Israelis have blocked the distribution of aid from international organizations that have been doing this for a very long time. And there are really serious issues around what are exactly the intentions and the motivations of the current government of Israel. What is the plan? One of their members in their cabinet yesterday was talking about how they wanted to make Gaza uninhabitable. And they wanted to do the same thing with the West Bank. So there are serious issues. We've named two of their ministers, sanctioned them. This is not about punishing anybody. It's not about rewarding anybody. It's about recognizing the rights of both the Israelis and the Palestinians to a peace and just solution. It's about recognizing the dignity of everyone who's caught up in this terrible struggle. And not just their dignity, but their human rights, their political rights, and doing it under the rule of law, doing it clearly in a way that respects the interests of everyone and the long-term security interests. And so, I mean, I won't go on any longer except to say that I disagree with those who say this is about punishing somebody or this is about rewarding somebody. It's not. Hamas's vision is no one else's vision. We are marginalizing Hamas. We are doing more to do that, if I may say so, than the government of Israel has managed to do. And we're going to continue to do that. But I think it's important for us to be clear about what this is and what it is not.
Still, though,
for political reasons, some people may say this. What? Yeah?
Still, Ambassador, and sorry for jumping in. You know, one of the reasons that motivated Hamas to attack Israel was essentially to affect Israel's regional diplomacy. The Palestinian people, to your point, have paid a greater price, and that may have not been calculated by Hamas. But ultimately, Canada is changing its diplomatic stance by recognizing Palestine outside of an actual peace deal. So doesn't, as Prime Minister Netanyahu says, Hamas win here because this was one of their goals, to disrupt Israeli diplomacy?
Well, if I have to disagree with you as well as with Prime Minister Netanyahu, I'm glad to do so. I don't think you could be more wrong. There's no rewarding going on here. There's no recognition of Hamas here. We're recognizing the Palestinian Authority, which has made it clear to us and to the British and to the French and to everyone else that they have no intention of allowing Hamas to participate in a government. So I think it's important to get the not only the facts straight, but also, you know, when Hamas, and I know there's a speech on the internet where the guy says this is what we're looking for. I mean, it's not about him. He's done. I mean, Hamas is not going to be part of the reconstruction of Gaza. It's not going to be part of the reconstruction of the West Bank. It's not going to be part of a political solution to the problems of the Palestinian people. It is people who are committed to democracy and who are committed to a future in which both Israel and Palestine will be recognized as having rights and obligations to each other and to the world. That's the plan. That's what we're putting forward. It has to be based on some very tough-minded approaches to security and to how we make sure the guarantees are in place to allow that to happen. But the notion that any terrorist group is being rewarded is just completely wrong.
Mm-hmm. Now, you said tough-minded decisions. I wonder then, how will this affect Canada's relations with Israel?
Well, I think the relation with Israel has been a long one and will continue to be a long one. I think there are many people in Israel who understand that mutual recognition, I mean, that was the path that was taken in 1993 for a whole variety of reasons, which we could all go into. We have seen a terrible veering away from that strategy on both sides, but we have to get back to the basics. And to those people who say this is, not the way to go, you say, well, what exactly is the way to go? Like, what are the alternatives here? You look at, is it one state? And if there's one state, who runs the state? What are the rights of the people? What are the rights of the Palestinian people in that state? If you say, well, it's one state, but all of the Palestinian and Muslim population will be excluded, and they'll be pushed out. You say, that's not tenable. That's against every rule of law or rule of reason or rule of fairness I could possibly imagine. And if you say, no, it'll be the other way, that the Israelis, the Jews will be asked to leave. That's not going to happen. We have to get back to the basics. There is a right of people to a homeland. There is a right of people to be in the place that they have historically been attached to for centuries. It so happens that in this situation, it's two peoples that insist that their rights are more important than the others. And we have to get to a state where we say, no, everyone's rights are important. Everyone's rights have to be taken into account, and everyone's security interests have to be taken into account. I think there are a lot of Israelis who agree with us. We'll continue to have the warmest of relations with people in Israel. We'll continue to have the strongest of relations with the Jewish community in Canada. And we need to maintain that dialogue and that understanding. No one's being excluded or being told that their views are not important. What we are saying is it isn't possible to have a serious conversation about the Israel-Palestine issue without recognizing that both sides have something at stake here. And if you come up with a solution that only has one interest at heart, then you've got a problem because it ignores the interests of the other. And we cannot afford to talk about a solution that doesn't take into account the interests of other people.
Mm-hmm. Now, it is the Carney government, in coordination with the UK and other allies, that's essentially making the decision to recognize Palestine. And I realize it does not necessarily have to, but should this have been debated in Parliament? The Carney government is still a minority government. Historically, strategically, Canada has stood by Israel. So such a big decision, should that not have gone to Parliament first in a debate to recognize Palestine as a state?
Lots of opportunity, but it's not for me. I used to be a member of Parliament, as you may remember, but I'm not going to get into that discussion. I mean, that's up to the government. I think there's a strong basis looking at where Parliament is to suggest that the approach that we're taking would have a strong majority support in Parliament. And if anybody wants to test that, everybody knows there's ways of doing it. The one thing I would say to you where I disagreed with your question is that the suggestion that somehow we are not remaining in support of Israel is wrong. The notion somehow that in taking this position, we're in any way diminishing our support for the state of Israel is false. Our support for the state of Israel is strong and will remain very strong and will always be strong. All we're saying is it's no longer possible to have a discussion about that territory, that land, without recognizing that other people have rights too. And I think it's inconceivable that we would, having taken this decision, we would now go backwards. It isn't possible to go backwards. We must go forwards.
Ambassador Bob Rae, I always appreciate the time. Thank you for this.
Thank you, Michael. Good to talk to you. Take care.
You too.